Forget. She just said she's coming in right now. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, alongside my co-host
Mikey Fever.
And this is a New Yorker's perspective. Notice I got the fatigue on. Hold on 1 second. Hold up. I got the shots today, y'all. Hey! Yo, I just want to say this real quick, man, before we start the show fully. We're supposed to have somebody coming in on at 8 o'clock. We'll see what happens with that. Thank the viewers for viewing, the listeners for listening. We really appreciate this. NYP is going on a year of being in existence. NYP will be existing for 1 year. We have a 1-year-old baby here, NYP, and NYP is officially a business. Oh, hold on.
That's it.
NYP is officially a business.
That's a fact. And so we appreciate y'all. Keep viewing, keep sharing, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and most importantly, super chats. Just not panhandling people. Support your people because we just want to bring in good quality content, and we're gonna look into migrating over into a in-studio show, so you can have more fun, could be more in tune, more information.
Right. You can see us, like our whole body, you know what I mean? What we got on, see how, Harlem get fly, you know what I mean? I'm going to get fly on this show. So, you know what I mean? But yo, I want to talk about this. Hold on. We got the shots popping right now. So look, check this out, man. I want to talk to y'all real quick before we go into, the topic of discussion. I want to let everyone know out there, listen. Now, I went into the 5% Nation's teachings in 1996. Wow. You know what I'm saying? That is my foundation. However, I studied a lot of different things. And this podcast is not a 5%ers podcast. I am not representing the 5% Nation nor the Moorish Science Temple of America with this podcast. What this podcast is, it's a show to bring people together from all walks of life in the African diaspora. So sometimes we're going to have somebody from the church on. Sometimes we're going to have some political people on. Sometimes we're going to have 5%ers on. Sometimes people of the African diaspora. Okay. All right. As long as that person is not a rat, a child molester.
That's a fact.
Okay. They're gonna be on the show as long as they don't have like a bad history of like scamming and all of that. They're welcome to get on the show.
Haven't been on no spaceships, no cults.
Right. so they're welcome to get on the show. Don't try to put us in a box because we're not in a box. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't like the pastor on the show, just don't view the show. If you want to see Sharif, Moorish Science, then we got that for you. If you want to see RBG, then we got that for you. If you whatever you want to see dealing with so-called black people, we got you covered.
Exactly.
We got you covered. So I want to talk about what you want to talk about, Mike, before
we go in the top. Last night's show was a great show. We got to hear different perspective from people, from the brother that's dealing with the Republican Party. We like to hear some people that's down with the Democratic Party, because over here, as Ron Brown said it and I said it, we haven't voted in years. I really don't really care about their politics from my personal perspective, because I don't think these people care about anyone but themselves. They all lies to me. What up, Tiff?
What's up, Tiff?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Woo, Black Power.
So before we go into today's discussion, I don't vote because I'm not educated well enough in politics to vote. So it makes no sense from the way I see it. It makes no sense for me to vote just to vote.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we want to bring Brother Rahim on from urban what is it called? Urban Politics, right?
urban conservatives.
Urban conservatives. We want to bring Brother Rahim on from urban conservatives to teach us about politics. Now, he may be, conservative. It is what it is. At least we'll have some information from whatever side, whatever he comes from. At least we'll have somewhere to gather information. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna keep it real. There's some conservative views I agree with, some I don't agree with. Some democratic views they have, some I don't agree with. But my thing is, it's all about respecting people and not looking at others as inferior and just being direct. I'm not with that corruption.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, no, we haven't voted in a while, and people feel like, oh my God, don't say that, or whatever the case may be.
People died for this.
Listen, bro, I understand people died for us to vote and such like and things like that, and I respect that. I respect it, and all praise is due to the ancestors. However, just like I said, I'm not gonna do anything I don't like. That's like me in the 5% nation. It said like doing the wisdom before the knowledge. Like we don't do the wisdom, but we don't do the wisdom before the knowledge. I'm not just doing the action on something I don't really know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Can I inform myself about politics and such and get deep into it and then make an informed vote and place an informed vote? Sure, I can. However, the way my life is set up right now,
and I don't do bandwagons. I'm sorry.
I need help.
You're not gonna catch me doing no QAnon bandwagon. None of that stuff. I don't care for conspiracy theories either. It's all about the facts with me.
Right. It's all about the facts. It's all about the facts. So I'm saying all that to say, like, listen, we're gonna be who we are, and that's that. Like it or not. So anyway, let's go into it. Let's speak about how so-called black women are hypersexualized in the media. I want to continue to have that discussion. I want to build on polygamy a little bit. And the overall black family, you know what I mean? Black, Moorish, whatever you want to say. People get caught up in, like, listen, man, we can't even have a simple conversation because we have to like keep correcting ourselves about words.
Yeah, different ideologies create all this nonsense, man.
It's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just talk.
Not to cut you with wisdom. Meanwhile, we so divided that we claim all these groups we affiliated with and still on the bottom of the totem pole with all that knowledge.
Right.
That's a problem. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Like that. Go ahead, Tiff. I know Tiff is getting tired of us here talking. She's like, shut up already. Go ahead. We're done, Tiff.
All right. I'm just coming in. I'm just listening because I hear y'all talking about voting and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's continue. All right. Now, do you want me to speak on the polygamy concept of this?
Not yet. We're gonna save that. I'm sure you ready. You ready to come out and throw them dukes. So let's you know what? Since you're ready to talk about that, looks like you're ready to talk about it. So let's
shoot.
Well, now here's the thing. I'm familiar with the concept of polygamy because of the fact that I came from an Islamic background as well. In the Islamic culture, the husband is allowed to have up to 4 wives. So I'm familiar with that. However, when it comes to polygamy, and one of the things it teaches in the Quran, that you have to treat your wives equally. Okay, you have to treat them equally, and they each have to have their own place. All right. So when I hear folks talk about polygamy, they're doing it for their own self-gratification. It's not about trying to build a foundation or trying to keep the community intact. Nah, it's about self-gratification, or they're just doing it for sexual pleasure. Because polygamy, it's a lot that goes into polygamy. Okay. If you're trying to have multiple women, you must understand them from not only intellectually, but emotionally. That's where emotional intelligence come in. You got to have emotional intelligence. Or otherwise, it's not going to work out for you as a man if you don't have the emotional intelligence to understand women. Okay. you gotta be able to be financially stable. You gotta be financially stable. All right. You gotta be able to make quality time for those women that you're trying to have these multiple relationships with. You gotta have quality time. You gotta be able to make sure that these other women can be able to interact with each other and they're okay with it. Okay. So if you have a wife and you want a second wife, you gotta be able to make sure that your wife is okay with you having a second wife. Because if she's not okay with that, then and you turn around and try to get another woman, you're gonna run into problems with her. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So y'all all have to be on the same page. You all have to agree with that. You know what I mean? So when people say they want polygamy, do they really want polygamy? Or do you just want sexual gratification? What do you really want? Because if you want polygamy, you gotta be willing to deal with the you gotta be willing to deal with what comes with it. You gotta be willing to deal with the discipline. You gotta have the emotional intelligence. You gotta have financial stability. Okay, you gotta be able to balance time. Use time management. Otherwise, you're going to be unsuccessful and you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be drained. So, and I'm just telling you, I'm telling the viewers out there, especially because I know as a woman how it is. You know what I'm saying? If you trying to deal with a woman, she gonna want your attention. She gonna want you to be there. She gonna want your support system. So as a man, if you trying to call yourself having multiple women at once, you better make sure that you can balance it. You gotta have some balance. You gotta be able to have patience. Otherwise, you can get polygamy out your vocabulary.
I have a question for you, Tiff. Do you participate in polygamy? Do you practice
No,
that?
no,
Oh.
I don't. No, I just told you that I came from an Islamic background, so I'm familiar with the polygamy concept.
Now, I agree with what you say 100% because you got to be able to support these women in all aspects. Because some people get a misconception thinking that polygamy is all about sexual pleasure and X, Y, and Z. That's not the case because it has to be equally yoked for everyone, and
Right.
it's and in the Western world they call it a business. Some people will say, "Yo, I'm trying to build a nation and whatever," and brothers will go out there and practice that, and we'll build a struggling nation of just having broken homes and everybody's doing bad, but talking as if they're kings and such.
Right. Now, my position on polygamy as it stands. Well, I was totally for polygamy at one point in my life, but I was on that polygamy hard body. You know what I'm saying? For a number of reasons, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of the reason had nothing to do with sex. Like it had nothing to do with sex. Like I don't want to go into my personal stuff, but I'm disciplined. You know what I'm saying when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? I could pull back and come back, whatever, pause. You know what I mean? So it's not like that's like the centerpiece in my thinking around surrounding polygamy. Now right now though, I'm not for polygamy, especially in America, because of the way things are all set up. It will be hard for you to maintain a polygamous relationship if you're not making a certain amount of money.
Exactly. I don't think the Western world society is ready for that. They can't fathom that.
No. People are out there polygamous.
It depends. But I wonder how is it running. Understand? And some will portray that it's all good, but as she said, you got to know women because dealing with one woman is enough, man. That emotional stuff got to be there because she's going through constant changes, hormonal changes.
Right, exactly.
One woman is difficult enough. You're like, oh my God.
Especially when she start having children, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna go through the postpartum depression. That's something serious. People don't realize how serious that is. So once she start having kids, and you know what I'm saying, she's gonna go through that episode where she's going to go through that depression, because the hormones is chemically imbalanced.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and you gotta be able to deal with that. You gotta be able to understand, well, how do I cope with this? How do I help her get through this? You know what I'm saying? You gotta be there for her emotionally, mentally, physically. You know what I'm saying? You gotta show up. And just for the record, I'm not a polygamist, and I'm not really I'm not a fan of polygamy, but I do understand it. But I'm not a fan of it. Okay, so I
Now,
should
why
put
aren't you a fan of it?
because a lot of these guys, they get the misconception about polygamy. As I mentioned, a lot of them, when they look at polygamy, they think it's sexual gratification. They thinking about their ego. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have, a lot of men don't have enough discipline. You know what I mean? Let alone, it's already bad enough that they out here cheating on their wives or girlfriends or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But my
They don't.
question to you is, where does the concept of cheating comes from the Western world?
Okay, well, what I mean is they going behind the back of the ones they love, the one they supposed to be in unison with. Okay, they going behind the back of that individual and not being straight up about not letting that person know where they stand on their position because they worry that this person is going to reject them. And guess what? In life, we gonna get rejected. You gotta accept that. You know what I'm saying? In life, everybody don't have to accept what you do. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be easier if that man was honest about, hey, I want to be with multiple women. I want to, be able to mess around. Now, if that woman say she's not okay with that and she doesn't want to be bothered with that, but that man still say that this is what he want to do or whatever. I mean, she can't control that. She can make her decision that whether she want to stay and whether she want to leave. But if you sit up here and you constantly lying and lying about your infidelity, you're only gonna make matter worse.
So she gets crazy,
right? But it's hard. It's hard to say now. Like I said, I'm not necessarily pro polygamy or pro monogamy either. I'm kind of like in the middle with a lot of the way that I think in general. But like, so to understand it, right? Like, in order for you say a brother's going behind his woman's back and messing around with other women, yada yada
I
yada,
mean,
and
and
he's not
women
being,
going behind the
he's
men,
not,
that messing with other men, and you know what I'm saying?
yeah, well,
So,
just to keep it in just speaking from a man's perspective,
okay.
right? Let's say I'm going behind someone of my woman's back and I'm cheating or whatever, right? So to speak, right? The reason is probably not to make an excuse for brothers out there that do it. The reason is because the society that we're a part of is predominantly a Christian based society, right? And that's really where monogamy, in a sense, comes from, if you will, right? Our relationship and family practices derive a lot from Christian views, ideology, and concept, right? So if we were to tell a woman who we know has that deeply rooted Christian mindset that we're gonna go out there and you know what, baby, I love you, but I want to see other women. How that's not gonna go over well if we're dealing with the reality. You know what I'm saying? And
Right, but there's some women that are, there's some women that subscribe to it, that give in. You know what I mean? You got couples that have open relationships, which to me, it doesn't make sense, but that's how couples do it. Some of them, they be married and then they'll still date other people. And I mean, I don't think it's logical. I don't agree with it, but that's how they come to that conclusion that, hey, we're gonna still be committed to each other, but we're gonna still see other people.
Yeah, the swing is I've seen that because I see that a lot nowadays. Even reading the Shazard Ali book, where she say most women think that a man will die within this one lifetime dealing with one woman, with one female, not knowing that the nature of men, as she put it, nature of men is to go out there and conquer, explore, and as Ron said, in this society, they'll call that lustful. You know what I'm saying? But that's who they are. But there was also societies where women had multiple husbands too in the past.
Right.
So I don't hear uproar about that. It's mostly geared towards the men. Not saying
Yeah,
that's
but see that get looked down upon. If you're a woman with multiple men, right?
I don't want to, like,
That get looked down upon. Let you be a woman dealing with multiple men in society, in this American culture.
Can I say?
Everybody and they daddy
I don't advocate women being with multiple men.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Everybody, you see what I'm saying? Because everybody and they daddy's got some criticism. Well, you're a whore. Oh, that means you're a whore if you messing around with that many men.
I'm gonna tell you what some elders told me.
Any and Audi. I'm
gonna tell you what some elders told me. Okay? Elders told me in the past, and again, I'm not being chauvinistic. They said it's easier for a man to be polygamous, and he's able to raise multiple families because he's able to go from home to home.
Yeah.
Right? They said the woman's a first nurturer. By nature, she's a first nurturer. She's home with the children, so the father would drop in. It's like, all right, boom. Say you're not with the father's not with the mother of his children or child anymore, right? He could go there, just, put his time in, drop off the money, and do his checkup and leave it, knowing that the child is safe with the mother. A woman cannot have multiple families. Like, I'm gonna go here.
And that's nothing. And I don't. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, so
you know what? This is gonna sound funny.
I don't think women should be doing that because because then the question becomes, well, who is the father, and are they reliable? Are they gonna be? Is it guaranteed that these men are going to be around their children? If you practicing polygamy as a woman, or what's it called, polygyny or something like that?
Polygyny.
Polygyny, yeah, that's what's called polygyny. If you practice polygyny as a woman,
polygyny.
Is it polygyny or polygyny?
Polygyny.
Okay. If you practice polygyny as a woman, right? If you're practicing that.
Oh, wait. No. You're saying as a woman. I thought
as a woman, yeah.
Okay, my bad. This is another term.
I think you said it right. Yeah, polygyny. Yeah.
I think polygyny is for men.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, if you practicing having multiple partners as a woman, right? You're going to have a difficult time to find out which one of those men are the biological father of your children, 9 times out of 10. And then are either of those men going to provide financial support, or are they going to come around? I mean, we already see that issue with women who have multiple baby daddies, right? What they do, they trying to get their baby daddies to get involved, right? Maybe 1 or 2 might be involved, but the rest of them don't want to have anything to do with the kids. So now you got a situation where she got to show up to court and put them on child support, put these men on child support just so they can, just so she can get some financial resources from them, right? So saying this, say all that, it's going to do a serious detriment to the woman, saying to try to have multiple partners at once. I mean, and me personally, I just can't picture letting multiple guys enjoy their pleasure inside of me. I just can't. It just what I'm saying? It don't seem right. I mean, how do you? But I'm not knocking no woman that's doing that. But that's just me. I just can't. Multiple men having intercourse.
Sexually liberating. That's what they would say.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, and then you have to be careful because I'm not trying to marginalize all men, but you don't know what some of these men are doing with themselves. You know what I'm saying? Some of them don't always play it safe. You know what I'm saying?
They play with both hands.
Not getting checkups.
They play with both. Let's just leave it like that. They play with both hands.
And then you got these, and then if we really understand men nature, right? Like you said, they are conquering. Okay. You got men who want to be controlling, who want to control the narrative of the woman, who want to control her, like who want to keep her in the household with him, or keep her under under his wing or whatever. Like she's, so it's gonna be a problem. So it's like, okay, well, I can't practice it because I got one man want to try to tell me and try to run what I do and try to dictate how I'm supposed to operate as a woman. You know what I'm saying? And this man over here, he got that same attitude, and this man over here got the same attitude. I don't fit nowhere. I mean, I can't even breathe as a woman. So how am I supposed to operate with multiple men trying to be in control of me? You know what I'm saying? And want to, compete with each other over me. Like y'all know how y'all testosterone get. Y'all testosterone get all over the place because y'all feel like, okay, this is my woman. She mine. He can't have her. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be with me, she gonna be with me. If she gonna be with him, she gonna be with him. That's just that. It's not gonna work. I mean, come on now. Women gonna have a hard time dealing with that. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to go on the rant, but yeah.
No, it's fine. But check this out. So let's talk about the history of I want to ask you the people, you guys, the history of monogamy and polygamy. What's older, monogamy or polygamy?
I would say polygamy, probably. Polygamy probably been around longer than monogamy. I would say, because I mean, if we look at the earliest human, you know what I'm saying, and how the human population was, like when we deal with it from evolution standpoint, for example, right? And you look at the Y DNA, those who carry the Y DNA chromosome, you know what I'm saying, and versus those who carry the mitochondrial DNA, those who carry the Y DNA traveled a lot. They traveled from places to places, and they were reproducing, right? They had multiple offsprings, and there was a back migration. So with that being said, that give you an idea that yes, there was more than likely a concept of polygamy practice taking place because, of the evolution in the beginning of time. So maybe monogamy came later on in the picture. We don't know how long monogamy been around. We know that it's been around for a while, but we can say that, there was polygamy practice. I mean, we can't deny that. So yeah, it had to be. I mean, we talking evolution, we talking about human migration, right? And back migration. That goes to show you right there that yeah, there was some form of polygamy happening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how not? You know what I mean? Like that's the way humanity, kept alive. You know what I mean? Just like you said, traveling to different places and copulating and making children. You know what I'm saying? That's how it went throughout history. Now I want to ask you, what animal on the planet is monogamous, or are there more animals polygamous than there are monogamous?
I would say from an animal standpoint, there are probably more animals that are polygamous than monogamous.
Lion all over the place.
I mean, from an animal standpoint, yeah, they more than likely going to be polygamous.
Okay.
Monogamous.
Okay. Now, if we take a look at marriage and marriage statistics in the Western world, what are those statistics looking like in the more monogamous countries?
That's a good one right there.
Well, I could tell you this: there is low marriage rate at this point. Very low. Not many people are getting married like they used to.
Not many people are getting married, and the divorce rate is like
high.
So is it a monogamy polygamy issue, or is it a societal issue where maybe we are exposed to too much on the internet, etc.?
I think it's more so a societal issue. That's what I think. I think it's a societal thing because of the expectation that society has placed on humanity, all the stigma, as far as, especially like when it comes to the men, like, okay, this is what you have to do as a man, and this is how you meet the standard as a man, etc. And then the standard of a woman, this is what you do as a woman, this is your standard, etc. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on relationships to the point where two individuals may not be able to agree, be on the same page, and it gets to a point where the relationship does not work out. So
I agree with that. The false narratives of gender roles.
Yes,
that's not adaptive to today's societies and what's happening today in this world. Because today you hear the majority of issues are based on finances. What they'll say, irreconcilable differences, personality clashes, not knowing the person that you're with. But it's mainly based on finances, and people are easily more distracted. Like I say, the purest form of love that I've seen were the time of my grandparents, because they were on a mission. They knew what they had to accomplish. They had the goals, and there was less distraction. You get what I'm saying? Although people were cheating back then, you hear in the old time, people were going around whatever. You find a story, you hear stories about finding out you had extra siblings at funerals whatsoever. But It's based on the foundation that's built between man and woman. So I leave it at that. If you don't have a strong foundation, of course your house will collapse.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for gender role. Don't get me wrong, I am for that because we need that. We need to have a balance. Okay. It's necessary. We gotta be able to have a balance where women can play their part and operate. We can play our parts, and men can play their part and operate. In society. So yes, I do believe there should be some form of gender role, but the concept and how it's going about is the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's what the problem is how it's being perpetuated. But is there gender roles that's needed? Yes. And now we have a situation where people arguing about 50-50. Who's gonna bring in what do you have to offer to the table? Yada yada yada. Right? Then we got people saying, well, we don't need gender roles in this society. We don't need that. That's too patriarchal, yada, yada, yada. So now that you have a conflict taking place because you got this part of the culture that said we don't need gender role, and you got these group of people over here arguing about 50-50.
Exactly. Now, hold on. That book is I could just say it to you. Larry Bob, yeah, brother, that book is the truth, man. Supernatural. I'm gonna be honest with you. Supernatural got me here on this podcast right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know, man. When you start reading that book, you just start realizing your own power. Like, you already know if you come from the 5% nation, or you come to the realization that you are God. You already know what your power. You know what you're capable of doing. However, Joe Dispenza kind of puts everything in its proper context, and he gets you to do exercises to make sure you carry out your mission the way you want it to see it fit. So back on the subject matter, right? The thing about the society and how sick it is, because I think we live in a sick society, and the reason why I think we live in a sick society is because everything is kind of like backwards, right? Especially in the so-called Black community where we good is bad, you know what I'm saying, and all that. How we switch the slang terminologies and all that. So I think we live like in a true matrix mentally. And how can we assess and look at a partner and say, okay, this is my mate? What criteria are we running down? Does she have to look like this, look like that, think like this, think like that? Like, how are we picking mates off the rip is important, and something that we should really think about. Because for what I know, like if you look at the Indian population in India, a lot of their marriages are arranged, although nowadays they're kind of like coming away from that a little bit, but a lot of their marriages are arranged. So, I would like to ask you, when you go for a mate, I mean, what's your criteria? What are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be honest with you. When I was younger, you had to be bad.
You got to be thick.
I mean, you got to be thick.
You got to be thick. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a brother thing. I think that's us.
You gotta have you gotta have a fupa.
You gotta have the fupa.
For me, you got to look.
Back then, when I was still.
You gotta be. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a certain type of athletic body, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta look like you working out or something. Like, you gotta stay healthy. You gotta stay active. Right. That's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. That's my preference in a man. He gotta be active. He gotta have that athletic look. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to get too much.
But now check this out. Sully. So anyone know who Sully is? Sully.
Yeah, I know Sully. Sully's the homie.
Sully's the homie. Tall and charming. So look, this is what I'm saying. This is my whole point here. This is my point. right? Look at what we're talking about. We're talking about physical attributes. We're talking about she got to be thick. He got to be athletic. He got to be tall and charming. That's the first thing that came to mind, right?
I mean, because see, as humans, we go by appearance. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go by first impression. The first impression is the looks. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna look at. I mean, because if you looking good and you smelling good and all of that, that's gonna draw that person to you. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna have a conversation and get to know one another, get to see where the minds are at. Are the minds alike? Does the minds meet each other?
Energy, chemistry, make sure everything is right.
Yes, because that's the most important part. Where is your mind state and where is your mentality level? Is it are you intellectual? Are you able to have an intellectual conversation? Are you able to bring about emotional intelligence? Are you able to bring some form of knowledge? You know, what type of foundation can you bring that will help us to grow as humans, as men and women?
As a family, right?
Yeah, as a family, yes. You can't deny the fact that if you telling me that if you come across somebody and you ain't looking at them physically, you're lying to yourself. You gonna look at the physical attributes. I mean, come on, you gonna pay attention. When you see a beautiful woman, you gonna want to talk to her, right? You gonna want to see what she about. You know what I'm saying? If I see a handsome man stand right in front of me, right, and he smells good, I'm gonna want to talk to him.
He gotta smell good, right?
I mean, listen, it's a woman thing. We like
garbage water.
Cologne. If you wear a certain type of cologne, come on now, that's gonna draw a woman's attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. We just got a thing for tall men. I mean, and I, you know, some short men we ain't got no problem with, but for tall men we have.
That's foul, man.
It's just that
short brothers, man.
Shout out to short brothers, man. Where y'all at out there?
Yeah, man. Don't do the short.
Short dudes, where y'all at?
You know what I'm saying? And you know, they nice and muscular, and you know what I'm saying?
But now check this out. Now look, this is my point.
This ain't everything though.
but this is my point though. This is my point. We're talking about physical attributes. We're on the physical attributes. Now, let's say this person is tall, handsome, all this good stuff, nice body, yada yada, right? And you're on the same page mentally. You're on the same page mentally, right? However, you didn't know that his credit is crazy.
Like bad.
No. And no assets, no ambition, no goals. You didn't know this though. You didn't know that. Because look, it takes you a while to get to know people, right? Because you know, as they say, people show up as their representative first. Okay. And then you learn years down the line, damn, this person right here doesn't have this. He's been saying, or she's been saying she's gonna do such and such and such for the past 10 years or 2 years. Let's go 2 years. For the past 2 years, and I still don't see any progress. You know, because they might have some kind of mental blockage that you don't know. Maybe they have self-esteem issues. You know, some real heavy baggage that you never knew. Right? So now you're stuck with this person. He or she may be a narcissist. There's so many different psychological issues.
That term is
yeah, that's gonna always be red flags. See, the problem is we tend to ignore the red flags because we're so caught up on the charm of the individual.
Been there.
You know, and their rhetoric, what they're saying. Right. So the red flags are there, and especially us women, you know, saying we ignore the red flags so much because we caught up on the man. And then by the time we get into the relationship with the man, right, and the red flag started to show itself, it's like, okay, now we're in a trap. And we're trying to figure out how the hell we're going to get out of this trap. What should we do here? Should we just forgive him and give him another chance? Or should we just get the hell on? And we don't always get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? We don't get to, you know what I'm saying? We don't make that decision in the relationship. We just stick there and trying to fix it, thinking we gonna fix the problem instead of trying to fix ourselves.
That's a fact. That's a fact. What she said was so real. Sometimes when you think on a low vibrational frequency, it could be the physical that you stuck on still, as Brother Ron said, and not seeing the red flags as you mentioned. As my homeboy say, we don't see the red flags. You would have thought we were Crips because we're so caught up. You get caught up with that person, and you already in like they already got you entwined into their event. Sometimes you fall in love with somebody's potential.
There you go, bingo.
You know what I'm saying? And even the physical holding people back too. Some people like, I don't want to deal with this person no more. But like, damn, but they be doing magic when we intimate. It's a different story. We all like, damn, like, you know what? Maybe it'll change after this.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how, to bring it all together. Yeah, that's my whole point, right? Like, so I think that because I'm speaking of our people, because that's what the show really is about, right? So I'm speaking of like as far as relationships are concerned, we need a different system on how we interact and pull in partners to become a part of our lives. Instead of saying, all right, it's easy. Like I could go, okay, she's very attractive. Boom. This is somebody that I can definitely be with for the rest of my life, right? Because she's beautiful. She's everything that I want. She represents what I represent, whatever the case may be, right? And then we go, okay, now what else though? Okay, now we need to start asking other questions like, all right, what's your family bloodline like? Let's take it back to your history, your family's history. Credit, what's your credit like? I mean, is that not a valid question?
Yes, that's a valid question. Credit is very important. What? Credit is very important. You cannot really get anywhere in life without credit. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to get a house, you're trying to start a business, you're trying to get an apartment, you're trying to get a certain type of car or something, or you trying to get loans.
Right.
That credit is going to be most important thing now. Unless you 18, 19 years old, you know what I'm saying? Because at that age, that's when you just start opening your credit up. But if you in your 20s and your 30s, all the way up to your 40s or whatnot, your credit is going to always be the most important thing. I mean, that's just, you can't get around it. You know what I mean? You can't get around it because that's going to determine what are you eligible for. Where's your eligibility? That I mean, off rip. So yes, credit is a must. You know what I'm saying?
And another question: where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a good question. But see, here's the thing.
Adult questions. Those are adult questions that we all miss growing up.
Right, but here's the thing: life is not guaranteed. So you only pretty much living for the moment. You know what I'm saying? You only can focus on the now and trying to do what you can while you're here, because we don't know what 5 years may look like.
Well, it's better what they say. Proper planning prevents poor performance, right? How they say it? Proper planning. Proper planning is a saying about proper planning. So even though life happens, right? It's best to still have a plan intact, just in case. Now, let's say if you're moving through life and then you just so happen to stumble, at least you can pick up those pieces again and then go right back on the path that you set forth, because it's already organized to get to where you want to get to in 5 years. Maybe you get there in 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So planning is definitely extremely important. Any other question? Okay, this is something I wanted to bring up. Dating and courting, what are the differences?
Well, dating is basically like you getting to know an individual. That's all you're doing. You getting to know an individual. You getting to interact with them, and that's about it. Courting is similar, but it's a little different. That's when you kind of make your decision as to if you really want to, spend your time with this person, or be in a relationship with the individual. So it's like you going into the transition of being in a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you pursuing that person, you taking unnecessary steps. And
Right.
I'm glad we're having this conversation because it took me time. I used to go through the dating thing. And, you know yourself, but you really don't know yourself.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
not putting much energy, like you're pouring from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're putting yourself in the back burner for that person's joy.
Right.
And then
Right.
you learn from the shortcomings from that because you're like, yo, I'm negating myself just to make you happy. But how am I making myself happy?
Bingo, that part.
In there, trust me, Ron was witness to that. You know what I'm saying? That time he saw me, that time he had jokes on me. But it's all good, Ron. He's like, yo, she came out the house looking like Ultimate Warrior. He's like, yo, what is that?
Yo, that was the day I realized you were with the wrong woman.
Ron had jokes.
As soon as I saw her, I said,
Like that ugly, but he's like, yo, why all that makeup? I'm like, I don't know why, bro. Yeah, he gave it a Tony. Yeah, yo, yeah. He's like, why all that makeup? I was like, I don't know why she does that, but I don't know why she.
So you know, we're talking all about this because we're talking about relationships, polygamy, monogamy, and things like that. And I personally know for a fact that the so-called black family, I like to say so-called, just to be politically correct for other people viewing. Now, for the black family, I think that we need more detailed and fine-tuned approach, you know, in dealing with each other in relationships and bringing families together, because we are all out of whack in that regard, which with hence the reason why I think that our people are in the predicament we're in right now, because our family structure is no longer the way it was. No longer the way it was. So maybe polygamy could work for us or not. Maybe polygamy could work. I don't know, because I got to look at the, as the brother Rahim would say, the data first. I would have to look at the data to make that.
And Sully is right. Mental health education is needed. Yes.
Say what?
Sully said mental
Yeah.
health education is
That's a
needed.
fact.
Yeah.
Mental health is important because the upbringing forms it shapes your psyche, on how you approach things in life. Like, you know, majority of us were brought up in an environment just based on survival. You didn't have time to, you know, really sit down and learn how to love, because nobody has a real. When people use that term love language, I don't follow that because I'm like, there's no such thing as a love language. You may have different expressions, but there's no love is not expressed. It's not cookie cutter for every individual. You know, people express it differently.
Well, here's the thing. That's the thing about love language, though. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I don't want to necessarily say I disagree with you. I'm gonna say that because I'm not as astute in that way of, in that ideology, right, or that concept, right, of love language. But I do know a little bit about it. Let's say love language is just like, you know, different people have different love languages. Like my love language may be I need more touch, or I need, you know, more you know, kind words and stuff like that. So I understand the concept of the love language thing. I just think that because our people are so behind, we need more of a military or militarized, if you will, or organized militant approach in dealing with relationships and going about, you know, marrying people and and taking on partners.
Scaring Tiffany.
Because I'm trying to figure out what. Because I'm trying to see, when you say militarized, what approach, like how do you go about doing it in a militarized way? Like, what do you mean? Give me an example.
Exactly. So I know that sounds like really extreme. What I mean is well, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if I should I'm not gonna say nothing. Hey, look at the screen, Tiff.
I see that.
I don't know if you want to put that out there. Maybe you want to hit him up or something. I don't know.
Nah, I mean, I'm already dealing with someone right now. Sorry.
Next time.
Now, what does Shawnee say? Shawnee's saying what?
It's important to learn whoever you are in a relationship with. Love language. That's it.
Whoever you're in a relationship.
But I'm interested, like, what type of militarized approach are
Okay,
you?
so militarized approach, meaning like I know that was kind of strong, that word, right? What I mean is it should be way more organized.
Okay.
Way more organized. Like it's nice to look at a sister or brother, pause. Nice to look at a sister or brother and be like, okay, this person looks nice, da 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 da. But before we even get to, we already know you look nice, right? That's like looking at a really nice car, right? You see a really nice car,
Mm-hmm.
right? It looks great on the outside, but what's the engine like?
That part. That's the most important, yeah. Because
You
if
get
the
what I'm saying?
engine messed up, then
Test drive. You gotta get a test drive.
Yeah.
Take it for a spin. But all right, let me rephrase that. The love language thing. I'm more into reality. I don't believe in fairy tales. You get what I'm saying? I meet a person where they at. I don't want to depict, like, I don't believe when couples say, yo, goals. They see a couple on television and say goals on social media, because I'm like, you don't know what happened behind closed doors. Create your own reality. You understand what I'm saying? Level of understanding with that person that you're with. And I'm like, I cannot put a present partner under the light of a past person. And it should, vice versa. Because, I cannot expect what I had in the past from you. We're different.
Right.
Right. You can hear me, Tiff.
I'm listening.
She's listening.
Now,
I want to take it back to the car and what's in the engine piece, right? So like what I'm saying is, as a people in North America, we have a lot of people from the African diaspora here. So we have Haitian, African American, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So I'm gonna generalize and put us all in one boat or pocket, right? So as a people, let's say we're in America, right, and we want a whole new approach, right? Because this whole family structure and the way it is right now is just not working. Relationships are not working. So we need, I think, a book to help us, classes to help us, a psychologist who's not compromised, who's bunny hopping, right? A psychologist who's not bunny hopping, someone who's really deep in handling black people and their relationships, men and women relationships, heterosexual relationships, and a book to go with it, classes, and very detailed approach in handling relationships in order for us to change things around in the black family. And if we change things in a black family, we change things in the community overall.
Oh, definitely. And I can go so far as say we need rite of passage.
Great.
And I think that's part of what you meant by militarized. Yeah. So it's come to think about it, rite of passage. Yeah. I always say that because, as you enter into manhood, womanhood, especially when you're a teenager, right? Because when you're a teenager, you're going into that transition. That's when you should be more prepared. And we also got to learn home economics. Home economics is a plus. In our community, it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because if you talk about starting a family, you have to be able to know the basics of things. Not only just knowing how to cook and clean, but knowing about credit and how to maintain a good credit and whatnot. How to be able to maintain,
Balance the checkbook.
how to take care of mortgage, etc. Things like that. So, and also there needs to be parenting class. There needs to be a parenting class, and I mean, to teach. If you're going to become a parent, you got to be able to know. You got to be able to know how to how to be a parent. What does it mean when you're dealing with a child? Because the child is going to go through a phase, and you're going to go through that phase with a child as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you having kids, they become very curious about a lot of things. Their mind tends to wander around.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to get into stuff. They're gonna be naturally rebellious towards you as a parent. So how do you go about dealing with that? How do you go about knowing how to deal with a child that may become rebellious? And how do you prepare for that? And then also, you might have a child that has certain type of condition, such as autism, you know, or any other condition, any other mental health issues. So how do you approach the situation dealing with a child who may have autism or any other, you know, mental health situation going on? How do you deal with that? So
Right. I think we as a people we just need we need to go back to class. Everybody.
yeah.
We need to be. That's why the Nation of Islam's pro. I don't want to say. I'm going to say the Nation of Islam's structure. That's why I think it's important for us to have a structure like that, where brothers and sisters can come in, separate the men and women.
That's what they do.
Because the men will learn faster and more efficiently that way, and so will the women.
Other men.
Say what?
Hold them accountable.
Exactly.
They'll learn from other men that keep holding them accountable. Like there's a book that, not to cut your wisdom, Nuri Muhammad has. It's called Before I Say I Do. And I read a lot of things in that book before getting married. Because I'm gonna keep it. I was married before, and I was like 20, 23, 24. Yeah, because I was doing the right thing and having a daughter, whatever the case may be. My pops was trying to instruct me to learn from his errors that he made. That's it's not always the proper way of doing it, but I got the idea. But should have dropped more gems along the way what marriage means and as a young man. So it comes with age. But as I said, wisdom comes with age. But what's also important, as Ron's saying, not only organized, but you got to have a supporting circle for that. There has to be a community involved.
Well, that's the whole thing. What I'm saying is, now watch this. Now let's say tomorrow this project family fixing, if you will, right? And we implemented this all over the country, right? Then I would say in the next 10, 20 years, we'll have that family. We'll have that family structure. We'll have the dads, we'll have the grandparents and everybody around, because our family structure is already fixed, right? The relationships are going well between, male and female and all of that, because we have all these new instructions and ways of going about things now. Hold on one second. Got it. Hopping on. Yeah. So, I think that implementing a more organized system surrounding relationships would change our people's direction or trajectory like tenfold. But we I think it was important to have this discussion, even though we kind of veered off of polygamy. And the whole point is, how can we be polygamous right now with the damage we have mentally, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just end off with that. Tiffany, thank you for coming out this evening. We really appreciate you. We want to make Tiffany a regular, like we have Sharif on every week. Tiffany to me is a beacon of light.
Solid.
Especially being a sister, of her caliber, who's Black power and knows her stuff. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen a younger sister like this and I don't know how long. She's like a diamond in the rough. She's a diamond in the rough.
I see Tiffany with AR. AR and Afro puff.
I would like for her to become like one of the sisters out there, and her name get, big.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So thank you. Well, thank you for having me on here. I really enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed speaking on this subject. Oh, I want to share something. I always like to share some books. So I got a book I want to share if y'all don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
All right, then let me go get it.
That's a fact what you said, man. It's time to heal the so-called Black family, man, because you got young people out there and not excluding ourselves that, they can see a family that's on the brink of falling apart, and you get advice from people who don't have a family structure themselves or who are miserable, will not give you proper advice.
Mm-hmm.
They will just add more fuel to the flame and make things worse.
Yes, sir.
You understand? So, as they say, you stick around people. If you're a married couple, stick around people that are married. That has a successful marriage. That's going to give you proper advice.
Yeah, but you know what? She said, Sully said, yeah, she adds value.
Yeah, Sully, don't be afraid too, Sully. You gotta come up here, man.
So where's she from? Brooklyn? BK now?
Yeah, she from, I think, what, Queens?
Queens, at least she from the 5 boroughs. What's up, Sully?
She gotta come up.
Okay, so well, here's the book that I like to recommend. It's called Safe to Love, Understanding Vulnerability to Manipulation, Exploring the Factors That Make Us Susceptible by Kitty Rose. Oh, you probably can't see it. Hold on. I don't think y'all can really see it.
Safe to Love. Kitty Rose, you said?
Yeah, Kitty Rose. Yeah.
Kitty?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can change my screen out real quick. Let me change my background. Okay.
You got it.
Can't you see it?
Yeah. Yep. Safe to Love.
Okay. Yeah, it's called Safe to Love, by Kitty Rose. So Kitty Rose is one of the sisters. She's on this platform called Tonight's Conversation, which I think is a great platform. I recommend people to watch it. They be on YouTube, but they have their own app. So they have like an event every they travel to different places. And so they always host live event, and they always have conversation about relationships, about men and women, etc. And she's one of those individuals. I personally like this woman. I like what she's teaching. I think she does a great job putting out information and whatnot. So I recommend this book. And also Africana Womanism Literary Theory by Clenora Hudson Williams. Okay. So I hope y'all can see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this sister, she really goes into like the importance of the family dynamic and how important it is for the woman to be able to, work on her character, work on herself, and just build on, the foundation, be that foundation for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Also, this is another book that was written by her. African Womanism, Reclaiming Ourselves. Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gotcha. All right. Then, of course, some of Bell Hooks. So this one touched me right here. I have shared this one before. It's called The Will to Change Men, Masculinity, and Love by Bell Hooks. Mm-hmm. So in this book, she really goes in about how to understand men and how we as in women should be able to provide a safe space for men to actually be more expressive and be more comfortable in their masculinity. And she speaks on the stereotype and the social stigma that has been placed on men by society, by patriarchal society and whatnot. Now the interesting thing is Bell Hooks was a feminist. She was a feminist. However, she had received a lot of criticism from her other feminist counterpart because her position on men, and she showed that she had so much support for men, but they felt like, oh well, you're kind of like being a traitor, an agent. We don't welcome men in this space.
Mm-hmm. But I don't mean to cut you off, Tiff.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
Man, you got to bring those books next one. We got a podcast coming on in 1 minute.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Oh, sorry about that. Tiff, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to everybody. We're about to talk about the science of credit right now.
Oh, okay.
See you in 45 seconds.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Peace.